Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FPL Addicts and Esports Live Fantasy Weekly Videocast and podcast. We'll be previewing Game Week 16. It will be a shorter podcast than usual, obviously a quick turnaround. So the deadline is pretty soon, obviously midnight tomorrow morning for the Melbourne viewers. So got to make sure that you get your teams in before that. We say that the podcast is all about Matt usually, well, it's all about him today. He's got all the section. He's got his guru picks. So make sure you take his advice for your last minute FPL insights. Obviously, I'm at the MCG, so again, different surroundings, but we'll be previewing how big teams have dropped points. Elliot's once again rolled over, and I'm back on top of the draft league, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. But we'll be back with a full-length podcast at the end of the week. But for now, make sure you take Matt's advice or he'll be fuming, and we'll see you at the end of the week for the next podcast. Take care.
Thanks, Ollie. The Guru here, still in sunny Perth. And what can we say about Game Week 15? Disappointing. Salah, the most transferred in player in the history of Fantasy League, returning 4 points as captain. Harry Kane also disappointing with another blank. So quite disappointing. But we move on. Game weeks are thick and fast. Game Week 16 starts tonight, and we're going to do it a bit different this week. Keep it a bit shorter and sharper as the game weeks are thick and fast. So we're going to start off with our ones to watch and differentials for Game Week 16. We're going to start with Gabriel Martinelli from Arsenal, one I didn't think I'd pick given their recent form. But Jack Gillibrand, as you know, one of our special guests every week on the pod, also in our mini league and our draft, did actually mention him, so I'm going to give him the credit for this one. 4.9 million as a midfielder, low ownership at 0.4%, was an absolute fire. Well, I think it was about a season and a half ago now, before his injury problems at Arsenal. Definitely one to watch. A lot of green and Brighton away this weekend. Moving on, look at another midfielder this week, James Maddison for Leicester away at Crystal Palace. Very low, 6.6 ownership on set pieces, on absolute fire in the last few games. Definitely one to watch, and let's not forget he's got a double game week coming up in 19. And then a third one we're going to go with this week, Charlie Taylor from Burnley, low ownership, below the 10% mark at 7.1%. Into that Burnley defence, which is becoming quite stubborn again. And, he's cheap. I think he's around 4.4 million right now. Potential for bonus points, potential to get forward, and potential for clean sheets with Sheffield United at home. Moving on, we're going to go with our three teams to watch for this game week, starting off with my own team, Tottenham, home to Fulham. Great fixture. Look, we've not been on the best form. That's now 4 on the trot without a win. Fulham at home, you expect us to bounce back. Kane and Son are going to be big favourites in this one. Another one, the early game, Leicester away at Palace. Hard to look past Leicester. Palace losing 7-0 and 3-0 in their last two games. And then our last team is going to be Liverpool. Look, they did get a draw against West Brom, which wasn't the best result, but away to Newcastle, who have slumped in recent weeks. You'd expect Liverpool to come away with 3 points. Lots of big FPL assets to look out for in that game. Salah, Mane, Trent and Robertson. We're moving on now to our captain picks. I think some of these again are quite obvious. Harry Kane and Son at home to Fulham. Definitely standout options. Bruno Fernandes every single week. Points. And we always say the potential for penalties. And another one we're going to go with, another key one every week. Salah away at Newcastle. A good fixture. Look, if you've got all of them, it is hard to pick between the two. To pick between the four. Kane and Son probably edge it with a home game against Fulham, to be honest. I know Fernandes is at home. Wolves are a tougher side than Fulham on paper. And we're going to go with our curveball now. This is a bit of a different one. I'm going to go with a goalkeeper, Nick Pope. He's been on absolute fire. He's got more points than Kevin De Bruyne. Home to Sheffield United, low scoring side. You'd really expect a clean sheet. Pope always comes with save points and bonus points as well. So bit of a curveball captain there. It was hard this week, given most of the strong captains are quite easy to pick. Picking a curveball was a little bit harder. So there we go, everyone. Thanks for listening, and good luck with the rest of the festive period, your new year, and the game weeks to come. And look forward to talking about Game Week 16 and previewing Game Week 17 shortly.